One of the saddest realizations that I had, and I had it relatively early, I would say, probably in my teens, is that, the people who run the country and run the world and run the biggest corporations and stuff, they're actually not that smart. They're actually, if anything, probably pretty fucking dumb. They think of themselves as really smart, but ultimately, they're not. And, you could, if you follow politics for any extended period of time, you learn very quickly, like, oh, these motherfuckers are liars, they're crooks, they're pathetic, they're careerists. Like, every negative descriptor you can think of applies to the people who fucking rule over us. And so that really puts things in perspective when you look at, for example, AI now blowing up. AI being the big thing. So, just like when social media came about, people thought, oh my God, it'll be great. It'll make us more connected. It'll bring world peace. And then literally the exact opposite happened. We're more divided and there's less peace. And, if anything, it made things worse, right? Well, now all the promises of AI, I don't even know if they're bothering to promise that AI is going to lead to a bright future. I mean, the fact of the matter is they brag that they want AI to take everybody's fucking job, for example. That doesn't seem so bright to me. Also, they're going to take your job and then destroy the social safety net so you have nowhere to go to be able to pay the bills, right? So just a nightmare scenario. We'll take a look at this. Jessica Burbank says the following. Breaking. Generative AI is now in use across the Department of War. This morning, December 9, 2025, all Department of War employees received a memo announcing Gemini Enterprise, a Google-made generative AI tool. I obtained this memo and screenshot of the Gemini interface. Pete Hegseth to all employees, quote, victory belongs to those who embrace real innovation rather than being reliant on the dusty, antiquated systems of a bygone era. We are thinking ahead here in the Department of War. Gen AI is part of this monumental transformation. It removes wasted time and focuses more of our energy into deceive results for the warfighter. I don't even know what that means. Okay. Well, anyway, so she posted this a little early, and then Fuckhead here ended up posting a video about it. So here we go. Here's Pete Hegseth announcing that the Department of War Crimes is now officially using generative AI. Listen to this.
The future of American warfare is here, and it's spelled AI. As technologies advance, so do our adversaries. But here at the War Department, we are not sitting idly by. Under the leadership of President Trump, America will lead the charge on this technological transformation by revolutionizing the way we win. And that's why today we are unleashing GenAI.mil. This platform puts the world's most powerful frontier AI models, starting with Google Gemini, directly into the hands of every American warrior. At the click of a button, AI models on GenAI can be utilized to conduct deep research, format documents, and even analyze video or imagery at unprecedented speed. Building on the great work of Undersecretary Emil Michael and his team, we will continue to aggressively field the world's best technology to make our fighting force more lethal than ever before. And all of it is American-made. The possibilities with AI are endless. Now, let's get to work.
Probably the dumbest person who's ever been Secretary of Defense in this country's history, Secretary of War Crimes, Pete Kegsbreath. The fact that he's so excited about this should be the warning for you that this is a horrible, horrible idea. So let's think about this for a second. We already know AI is being used in war. We already know that. And it's being used specifically, Israel is using it to do the genocide of Gaza. They're using it already. And there's these different programs like, what was it called? Where's Daddy? Or Daddy's Home? I think it was Daddy's Home. And they would have AI tell them when the Hamas fighters were home, and then they would bomb the home. So they would think, oh, yeah, well, of course, the girlfriend or the wife is there. The kids are there. We don't care. Bomb it anyway. And for the record, we have AI telling us to do it. So it's like super serious and legitimate because AI, AI can't get anything wrong. So when they say to do it, of course we're going to listen. Of course we're going to do it. You have allegedly Palantir was helping with their AI. They were helping Israel commit war crime after war crime, atrocity after atrocity. So we're already at the point where they're using AI for war crimes. And understand something, there's a perverse reason, further reason that they're doing this, because it allows them to try to pass the buck legally. So that when the day comes, hey, maybe you're charged for your war crimes, you go, I don't know what you're talking about. This isn't my fault. I didn't pick the target. I had nothing to do with the target. I didn't even press a fucking button. It was the AI that did all of it. So you can't blame me. You can't blame any other of us IDF officials that were doing it. It wasn't us. In no way, shape, or form did we choose the target or press the button, so by no stretch of the imagination can we be considered guilty. This is what the fucking AI companies are helping to work on, by the way. Now, the craziest part of all of this is people have this default assumption like, oh, but wait a second, if it is AI, it probably is like hyper intelligent and it can factor in a whole bunch of things that we can't even factor in as humans, and it has more data than we'll ever have, et cetera, et cetera. But that's also total bullshit. Guys, I know I told this story on the show before, but I have to tell it again because it was just astonishing to me what I was watching. But, I've gotten to the point I barely use AI almost at all anymore. And the reason that's the case is because it's full of shit. Like, it lies like a shitty human. It lies like a shitty human. So I was trying to figure out, there was this Joe Rogan clip I wanted to cover on the show. I was trying to figure out what podcast he was on and who he was talking to. So I sent the clip to Grok, and I said to Grok, what podcast is this and who is Joe talking to? Grok literally just made it up. Grok said, oh, this is the Joe Rogan Experience, and he's talking to Brian Callen. And I'm like, okay, I know that's not the Joe Rogan Experience. Joe was sitting in like a spaceship-looking thing. Not like his old set, which also kind of looked like sitting in a spaceship. It was totally different. I've never seen Joe's set like that before. His studio never looked like that. And I knew the guy I was talking to wasn't Brian Callen. And then I said, that's not true. Now try again. And it said, oh, it is the Joe Rogan Experience, and he's talking to Theo Von. It just kept changing it. Oh, it's Brendan Schaub. Oh, it's Theo Von. Oh, it's this person, it's that person. Every single time it lied. And it got to the point where I said to it, why are you making it up? If you don't know, tell me you don't know. And it would still just make some shit up. This is AI. And I think they have a word for that. What do they call it? I think they call it hallucinations, where it convinces itself that the thing that it's saying is real. It's almost like a pathological liar in a sense. So every now and then it could be useful. Like every now and then, some percentage of the time it gets some shit right. But when it doesn't know, it just makes some shit up. So what I ended up doing is just going to YouTube, typing in Joe Rogan, narrowing the search to like the past day or the past week or whatever it was, scrolling down, and then I was able to find it down on the first page. It was some podcast American Alchemist or something like that, some podcast I never heard of. But I wanted to check to see if it was real, because I thought maybe this podcast is AI when I first saw it. And it turns out it was real. But like in using AI, it's so ironic because it just proved how this shit is not even close to ready for prime time. And by the way, in that episode, Rogan was saying how maybe AI is going to bring back Jesus. Like AI will birth Jesus. And it's like so ironic that he says that. And meanwhile, the AI literally couldn't even tell me what podcast he was on and who he was fucking talking to. This is insane. But this is the level the shit is at, right? So right now, it's like they've overpromised, they've underdelivered. There's a massive AI bubble. One of the scams that these guys are doing is these AI tech billionaires will say like, oh, we're investing in this other AI project. And you'll have like one of the companies, send some money to NVIDIA, and then NVIDIA will send it to another company. And like, they're basically passing money, like billions of dollars back and forth to keep reinflating this massive bubble. And so now, in the midst of all of that, they're using the AI to kill innocent civilians. And now the U.S. is saying, oh, we'll do the same shit. And by the way, this shouldn't surprise you, because we know there's a massive scandal right now because Trump and Hexeth are murdering innocent people almost on a daily basis in the Caribbean, off the coast of Venezuela. They've killed people from Trinidad and Tobago, from Colombia, from Venezuela, innocent fishermen. No evidence these people are smuggling drugs, despite what they fucking say. And even if they were smuggling drugs, you can't just fucking vaporize them and murder them in a terror attack. So I think they know, oh shit, now we're in like some legal trouble and there's pushback against us, and you have people saying it's a war crime, and they're saying it even in fucking mainstream media, this is a problem. How about now we roll out the AI program and we say, well, I wasn't even making any of the decisions. It was AI. It was AI. So it's an attempt to pass the buck legally when it comes to war crimes. That's what it is. And also, to the extent they actually rely on this shit in any way, shape, or form, I mean, it's going to be catastrophic. We know that because you have AI telling fucking dead-eyed Israeli psychopaths to fucking mass murder and vaporize babies in Gaza. So this honestly, it's like it's a tool of the Antichrist, and that's hilarious because you have Peter Thiel, who's going around accusing lefties of being the Antichrist. Meanwhile, he's the one giving us all these incredibly dystopian technologies that can be used for evil and are being used for evil. And here's a guy who can't even say he's on Team Human, and he wants humanity to continue. He wants us all to be transhumanist cyborgs. But we're the Antichrist? No, he's the fucking Antichrist. It's super duper clear. And the fact that we're now using AI, generative AI, that's the other scary part, is like, According to Pete Hegseth, what he's saying is we're using AI that doesn't even need human input. That's what generative AI is. And it makes it seem like we're even closer to what's called artificial general intelligence, which is, again, you don't even need to put a fucking prompt in. It can do what it wants. Well, gee, I wonder what could go wrong in that scenario. There's nothing that could go wrong in that scenario, right? Just let the AI, don't even need any input, don't even need any prompts. Let the AI basically do whatever the fuck it wants to do. It's like, you idiots are literally trying to create God or the devil in a fucking computer, and Lord only knows what we're doing here. I mean, it feels like society today is like the toddler or the infant just putting its hand on the hot stove like this, right? Just, like, that's what it feels like. Because they have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea the consequences of these actions, and they don't care. They don't care. Why? Because it's a bunch of billionaire broligarch assholes who are super wealthy and want to get even more wealthy and have more money and more power. They're the ones who are demanding the right to play God in this scenario. And all of us are just fucking peasant slaves who can shut the fuck up and mind our business and lose our job and lose our social safety net protection. They don't care about us. They don't care about the future of humanity. Why do you think Elon Musk talks about going to Mars all the time? He knows we're cooked on this planet. They're just looting and pillaging the treasury with the limited time that we have left. And they're creating the most horrific and terrifying technology of all time and not even caring about the consequences. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.